Sarah Kovacs opened her eyes to darkness. Her head hurt badly. The metal floor beneath her was cold. She tried to remember what happened, but everything felt fuzzy and confused. Then it came back to her. The explosion. The screaming. The fire spreading through her ship as the alien weapons tore it apart. She had been trying to evacuate civilians from Colony 7 when the Kryn fleet appeared. They didn't even send a warning. They just started firing. Sarah sat up slowly. She was in a small cell with walls made of some kind of dark metal. A thin line of blue light ran along the edges where the walls met. There was no door that she could see. No windows. Just a small slot near the floor where they pushed food through twice a day. She had been here for 3 weeks now. Maybe longer. It was hard to tell time in this place. The Kryn came to question her every few days. They wanted to know about human military bases, about weapons, about how many ships Earth had left. Sarah told them nothing. She was a military doctor, not a soldier, but she knew enough to be dangerous if she talked. So she stayed quiet and took whatever punishment they gave her. The aliens were tall and covered in dark, scales that shifted colors in the light. They had 4 arms and eyes that glowed red when they were angry, which was most of the time. They spoke through translators that made their voices sound flat and cold. Sarah stood up and walked to the wall. She had been a doctor for 12 years. Before that, she grew up in the slums of New Detroit. She learned early that you survive by being tough and smart. Her mother always called her Sarah Bear and told her she could be anything she wanted. Then her mother died when Sarah was 7, and she learned that wanting things and getting them were different. She joined the military medical corps at 18, worked her way up, saved hundreds of lives during the colony wars. People started calling her Reaper because she kept pulling soldiers back from death. It was supposed to be a compliment. Now she was trapped in an alien prison, and all her medical skills meant nothing. A loud boom echoed through the walls. Then another. Sarah pressed her ear against the metal. Explosions. Somewhere in the prison. Her heart started beating faster. More booms. Closer now. Then the sound of alien voices shouting. The blue lights along her cell walls flickered and went dark. Emergency lights came on, painting everything in red. Sarah stepped back as the wall in front of her suddenly shimmered and disappeared. The force field holding her in was down. She could see the corridor outside. Other cells were opening too. Prisoners of different species were stumbling out, looking confused and scared. This was a prison riot. Some of the other prisoners must have found a way to shut down the power. Sarah didn't waste time. She ran out into the corridor and looked both ways. Left led deeper into the cell blocks. Right led toward the main prison complex. She went right. She needed to find the docking bays. Find a ship. Get out. She ran past other prisoners who were fighting with guards. Some aliens she didn't recognize were using stolen weapons. The Kryn guards were firing back with their plasma rifles. Sarah ducked behind a corner as energy blasts flew past. She found a dead guard and took his weapon. It was heavy and shaped wrong for human hands, but she made it work. She kept moving, following the signs written in different alien languages. She couldn't read them, but she followed the arrows pointing to the transport levels. Then she turned a corner and stopped dead. Standing in the middle of the corridor was a Kryn female. But not just any Kryn. This one wore armor decorated with gold patterns. Royal armor. Sarah had seen pictures in the military briefings. This was Princess Zalkira, heir to the Kryn Empire. The same commander whose fleet destroyed Sarah's ship. The princess was alone. Her guards must have been called away to deal with the riot. She held no weapon. She just stood there, staring at Sarah with those glowing red eyes. Sarah raised her stolen rifle. Her finger moved to the trigger. This alien was responsible for killing her crew. for destroying human colonies, for so much death. But the princess didn't move. She didn't call for help. She just kept staring at Sarah's face like she was trying to remember something. Then the princess spoke. Her translator was off, so the words came out in the Kryn language first. Harsh, clicking sounds. But then she switched to English. Perfect English with no accent. Cerebear, the princess said softly. They called you Cerebear. Sarah felt like someone had punched her in the stomach. That nickname. Nobody had called her that since her mother died. 23 years ago. How could this alien possibly know it? What did you say? Sarah's voice came out as a whisper. The princess took a step forward. Sarah raised her rifle higher, but her hands were shaking. I know it sounds impossible, the princess said. But I remember you. When you were a child, I saw your dreams. I saw your mother calling you that name. I saw you crying because you missed her. I saw you promise yourself that you would become strong enough to protect people. Sarah's mind was racing. This made no sense. She had never met this alien before. She was sure of it. But how could the princess know these things? These private, personal things that nobody else knew. You're lying, Sarah said. But her voice shook. I wish I was, the princess said. It would be easier. But I've carried your memories for 23 years. I've wondered every day if that little girl became who she wanted to be. Alarm sirens started blaring. Heavy footsteps echoed from both directions. Guards were coming. The princess looked over her shoulder, then back at Sarah. She made a decision. She pointed down a side corridor that Sarah hadn't noticed. That way. Service tunnels. They lead to the lower docking bays. Go now. Why are you helping me? Because I owe you, the princess said. I owe you everything. Now go. Sarah hesitated for one more second. Then she ran. She didn't understand what was happening, but she knew an escape route when she saw one. She disappeared into the service tunnel just as the guards rounded the corner behind her dot as she ran through the dark tunnels. Her mother's voice echoed in her memory. You can be anything you want, Cerebear. Anything at all. And somehow, an alien princess remembered it too. Sarah ran through the service tunnels for what felt like hours. The tunnels were narrow and dark, with pipes running along the walls that hissed and dripped. Emergency lights flickered every few meters, giving just enough light to see by. She could hear fighting above her. The prison riot was spreading. That was good. It meant the guards were too busy to hunt for one escaped human prisoner. But she kept thinking about the princess, about what she had said, about that nickname. Sarah finally stopped to rest in a wider section of tunnel. She leaned against the wall and tried to catch her breath. Her stolen rifle was almost out of power. She had maybe 1 or 2 shots left. She heard footsteps. Soft ones. Someone was following her. Sarah raised her rifle and pointed it at the tunnel entrance. A figure appeared, hands raised. It was the princess again. Don't shoot, the princess said calmly. I'm alone. How did you find me? Sarah kept the rifle steady. I know these tunnels. I designed some of this prison. The princess lowered her hands slowly. Can we talk? I'll stay back here if it makes you feel safer. Sarah wanted to refuse. Wanted to just run. But she needed answers. Talk fast. Guards could come any second. The princess nodded. 23 years ago, I was a junior officer. I was assigned to patrol the border sectors. We detected a human ship entering Kryn space without permission. My orders were simple. Destroy it. Sarah's finger tightened on the trigger. Let me guess. You followed orders. No, the princess said. I didn't. That's the problem. That's why I'm here now, helping you escape. She moved a little closer. Sarah tensed but didn't shoot. The ship was called the New Hope, the princess continued. It was a colony vessel carrying orphans from Earth. Hundreds of children in cryo-sleep, being sent to a frontier world. I boarded the ship before destroying it. I wanted to see what humans kept in their vessels, to understand our enemy better. Sarah felt her blood go cold. The New Hope. I know that name. You should, the princess said. You were on it. The words hung in the air between them. Sarah's mind raced back, trying to remember. She had been in cryo-sleep as a child. She knew that. Her record said she was transported from Earth to Colony 7 when she was young. But the details were always fuzzy. Cryo-sleep did that sometimes. Made memories unclear. Keep talking, Sarah said. The princess sat down on the tunnel floor, moving slowly so Sarah wouldn't see her as a threat. When I boarded the ship, I found the cryopods. Hundreds of them. All children. The ship's AI was running a dream program to keep them calm during the journey, to keep their minds active so they wouldn't suffer damage from the long sleep. I accessed the dream program. I wanted to understand what human children dreamed about, what they feared, what they wanted. It was supposed to be intelligence gathering. Arving, the princess looked up at Sarah. In the dim light, her alien features looked almost sad. But something happened when I connected to the system. The dreams. They flooded into my mind. I experienced them like they were my own memories. I saw Earth through their eyes. I felt their fears and hopes. I lived entire childhoods in the span of minutes. Sarah slowly lowered her rifle. Just a little. That's not possible. Kryn neural technology is very advanced, the princess said. We can share thoughts, memories, experiences. But we only do it with other Kryn, with family and close allies. I had never connected to an alien mind before. I didn't know what would happen. The human dreams were so different from Kryn thoughts, so full of emotion and warmth and chaos. Kryn minds are ordered and controlled. Human minds are like storms, beautiful and terrifying at the same time. The princess stood up again. One dream stayed with me stronger than all the others. A little girl named Sarah. She dreamed about her mother who had died, about wanting to be strong, about wanting to protect people so they wouldn't hurt like she hurt. Her mother called her Bear, and in her dreams, the girl would hear that name and feel safe for a moment before remembering her mother was gone. Sarah felt tears starting to form. She blinked them back. Why are you telling me this? Because I couldn't destroy that ship, the princess said. I couldn't kill those children after experiencing their dreams, after feeling what they felt. So I falsified my report. I said the ship self-destructed when we approached. I let it go. But the memories stayed with me. They've been in my head for 23 years. Especially yours. I've wondered all this time what happened to that little girl. If she made it to the colony. If she grew up. If she became the protector she wanted to be. Sarah wiped her eyes with her free hand. This is insane. I know, the princess said. But it's true. I've been carrying pieces of your childhood in my head for more than 2 decades. And when I saw you in that corridor, I recognized you immediately. Your face, the way you stand, the look in your eyes. You're her. You're Bear, all grown up. Footsteps echoed from somewhere in the tunnels. Many footsteps. The guards were coming. We need to move, the princess said urgently. Come with me. I know a way out. Why should I trust you? Sarah asked. Because I saved your life once when you were 7 years old, the princess said. And I'm trying to save it again now. That has to count for something. Sarah made a decision. Maybe it was stupid. Maybe it would get her killed. But something in the princess's voice sounded honest, desperate, real. Fine, Sarah said. Lead the way. But if this is a trap, I'll use my last shot on you. Fair enough, the princess said. They ran together through the tunnels. The princess knew every turn, every shortcut. She led Sarah through sections that looked unused for years. They climbed down maintenance shafts and crawled through air vents. All the while, the sounds of the prison riot grew louder behind them as they ran. Sarah asked, "What happened to the other children?" "From the ship?" "They all made it to their colony world," the princess said, while helping Sarah climb over a large pipe. "I checked later, through secret channels. They grew up. They built lives. They survived. And you've been watching humanity ever since?" "Yes," the princess admitted. "I couldn't stop. After experiencing those dreams, I couldn't see humans as just enemies anymore. I've spent 23 years trying to limit the damage this war causes, pushing for prisoner rights, preventing massacres. My people think I'm soft, weak. If they knew why, I would be executed for treason." They reached a heavy door. The princess placed her hand on a scanner. The door hissed open, revealing a small docking bay with a single scout ship. "This is a maintenance bay," the princess said. "That ship is mine. Personal use. It has the clearance codes to leave the prison without being shot down." Sarah stared at the ship, Freedom, a way home. But it felt wrong. "What about you?" Sarah asked. "If I take your ship, they'll know you helped me." The princess smiled. It was a strange expression on her alien face. "I know. I'm coming with you." "What?" "I can't stay here anymore," the princess said. "Not after this. They'll figure out I helped you escape. I'll be branded a traitor anyway. I might as well actually commit to treason." Sarah shook her head. "You're throwing away everything. Your title, your family, your whole life." "I know," the princess said. She walked toward the ship and opened the entry ramp. "But 23 years ago, I made a choice to save some human children. It changed me. It made me see the universe differently. And I've been living a lie ever since, pretending to be a loyal Kryn while secretly working against my own people. I'm tired of lying," the princess said. "I want to do something real. Something that matters." Sarah looked at the alien princess. This enemy who somehow knew her childhood nickname, who remembered her dreams, who was willing to throw away everything to help a human prisoner escape. "You're crazy," Sarah said. "Probably," the princess agreed. "Are you coming or not?" Sarah walked up the ramp. "My name is Sarah, not Sarah Bear." That was a kid's nickname. The princess followed her in. "I know. I'm Zalkira. Most people call me princess or commander. But that was never who I wanted to be either." They closed the ramp. The ship's engines started to hum. And together, a human doctor and an alien princess prepared to escape into the stars, carrying secrets that could change the whole war. The prison alarms were screaming as Zalkira fired up the ship's engines. Sarah strapped herself into the co-pilot's seat and watched the princess work the controls with all 4 arms moving at once. It was strange watching an alien pilot a ship, but Zalkira clearly knew what she was doing. "Hold on," Zalkira said. The ship lifted off the docking bay floor and shot toward the exit doors. They opened automatically for the princess's clearance codes. Then they were out, flying into open space. Sarah looked at the view screen. The prison was massive, a dark station floating in orbit around a dead planet. She could see explosions inside it from the riot. Escape pods were launching. Some were being shot down by defense guns. "They're killing the prisoners," Sarah said. "Yes," Zalkira said quietly. "The Kryn don't allow escapes. Everyone who tries will be hunted down. That's horrible." "That's war," Zalkira said. She pushed the engines harder. The ship jumped to faster than light speed. The prison disappeared behind them in a flash of blue light. For several minutes, they just sat in silence. Sarah's hands were shaking. She was free. Actually free. She had been sure she would die in that cell. Where are we going? Sarah finally asked. Toward human space, Zalkira said. We need to reach your military before my people find us. Once they discover I'm gone, they'll send hunters. Fast ships, assassins. They can't let me live after I've betrayed the Empire. Sarah looked at the princess. You really threw away everything, didn't you? Yes, Zalkira said. She didn't sound sad about it. Just tired. I've been preparing for this for years. I knew someday I would have to make a choice. Stay loyal to my people and keep lying about who I am. Or do what's right and lose everything. What made you decide now? Zalkira turned to look at Sarah. You. When I saw you in that corridor, I knew I couldn't let you die. Not after I saved you as a child. It would make that choice meaningless. And I realized I've been a coward. I've been doing small things to help, secret things, but never anything that really mattered. I was too afraid to sacrifice anything important. Sarah thought about that. I understand. I joined the military because I wanted to help people. To be the protector I dreamed about as a kid. But sometimes I wonder if I've made any real difference. I save lives one at a time while millions die in the war. Every life matters, Zalkira said. That's something I learned from human dreams. Kryn are taught that individuals don't matter. Only the Empire matters. The collective. But humans dream about single people. About saving one friend. One family member. One stranger. You value each life like it's the whole universe. They flew in silence for a while. Then warning lights started flashing on the control panel. Zalkira checked the readings and cursed in her own language. What's wrong? Sarah asked. Hunters, Zalkira said. 3 ships. They're fast. They'll catch us in less than an hour. Can we fight them? This is a scout ship, Zalkira said. It has light weapons. Nothing that could stop a hunter ship. We need to be smart, not strong. Sarah stood up and started looking around the ship. It was small, maybe 20 meters long. There was a cockpit, a small living area, storage compartments, and an engine room. She opened compartments and found supplies, medical kits, and some basic tools. What are you doing? Zalkira asked. Thinking like a human, Sarah said. She found what she was looking for in a storage locker. A maintenance drone. Small, about the size of a basketball, with various repair tools attached. Do you have any spare power cells? In the engine room. Why? Sarah grinned. Because Kryn think like warriors. They expect us to run in a straight line or turn and fight. But humans don't always do the expected thing. She spent the next 20 minutes working on the maintenance drone, while Zalkira flew the ship toward an asteroid field. Sarah explained her plan as she worked. It was risky, maybe stupid, but it might work. When the hunter ships got close, Zalkira slowed down. The lead hunter ship hailed them on the communication system. A Kryn officer appeared on the screen. He looked angry. Princess Zalkira, the officer said, you are ordered to surrender immediately. Return to the prison station. Face judgment for your crimes. What crimes? Zalkira asked calmly. Treason. Aiding an enemy prisoner. Abandoning your post. The charges are many. I see, Zalkira said. And if I return, what happens to me? Execution, the officer said. He didn't sound happy about it. It's the law. Even royal blood cannot protect you from treason. Zalkira looked at Sarah. Sarah nodded. It was time. Then I have no reason to surrender, Zalkira said. She cut the communication. The hunter ships moved in to attack. Zalkira flew the scout ship straight at them, which they didn't expect. At the last second, she dove down and flew into the asteroid field. The hunters followed, firing weapons. Energy blasts lit up the space around them. Zalkira was an excellent pilot. She spun the ship between asteroids, using them as shields. The hunters couldn't get a clean shot, but they were gaining. Their ships were faster and more maneuverable. Now, Sarah shouted. Zalkira hit a button. The back hatch of the scout ship opened. Sarah's modified maintenance drone shot out. It flew straight at the nearest asteroid and attached itself to the surface. The power cells Sarah had rigged started overloading. The drone exploded. It wasn't a big explosion by itself, but it was enough to crack the asteroid. The asteroid broke apart, sending huge chunks of rock in all directions. The lead hunter ship tried to dodge but was too close. A boulder-sized piece of asteroid smashed into its wing. The ship spun out of control and crashed into another asteroid. The other two hunter ships slowed down, more cautious now. Zalkira used the time to fly deeper into the asteroid field, putting more rocks between them and their pursuers. That was clever, Zalkira said. Very human. We're good at using what we have, Sarah said. Growing up poor teaches you that. The military taught me the rest. They kept flying through the asteroids for hours. The two remaining hunter ships kept following, but stayed farther back. Finally, Zalkira found what she was looking for. A large asteroid with a cave in it. She flew the ship inside and powered down the engines. They can't scan for us in here, she explained. The asteroid has metals that block their sensors. We can hide for a while. Sarah collapsed into a seat. She was exhausted. She hadn't slept properly in weeks. How long until we reach human space? 3 days, Zalkira said. If we can avoid more hunters. Tell me something, Sarah said. Those dreams you experienced. My dreams. What else do you remember? Zalkira was quiet for a moment. I remember you dreamed about becoming a doctor. You saw a medic help someone in the street once. You thought that was the most heroic thing you'd ever seen. More heroic than soldiers or cops. Just someone who helped people who were hurt. Sarah felt tears in her eyes. I did become a doctor. I know, Zalkira said softly. I saw your military records when you were captured. Dr. Sarah Kovacs. Called Reaper because you bring people back from death. The little girl became who she wanted to be. What about you? Sarah asked. What did you want to be? Zalkira looked out at the stars through the cave opening. Kryn don't dream like humans do. We're taught what to be from birth. I was born royal, so I had to be a warrior. A commander. Cold and strong. But after I experienced human dreams, I started wanting something different. I wanted to understand other species. To find ways to end wars instead of fight them. But I couldn't tell anyone. So I just did what I could in secret. You saved hundreds of lives, Sarah said. I heard about the battles where Kryn commanders showed mercy. Let civilians evacuate. Took prisoners instead of executing them. That was you, wasn't it? Some of it, Zalkira admitted. Not all. I've been spreading the human memories through our neural network. Sharing them with other officers. They don't know where the thoughts come from. They just suddenly feel different about humans. Less certain that killing them all is the right thing. Sarah sat up straighter. Wait, you've been doing what? Zalkira explained about Kryn neural technology. How they shared thoughts and memories with each other. How she had been slowly, carefully sharing human memories with other Kryn. Creating doubt. Creating empathy. Changing minds one at a time. Sarah's mind raced. That's incredible. Do you know what this means? That I'd been committing treason for 23 years? Zalkira said dryly. No, Sarah said. She was getting excited now. It means we have a weapon. A real weapon that could end this war. Zalkira turned to look at her. What are you thinking? Sarah smiled. I'm thinking like a human. And humans are really good at turning impossible situations into opportunities. Sarah spent the next day studying everything Zalkira knew about Kryn neural technology. The princess was surprised by how quickly Sarah understood it. But Sarah explained that human doctors had to learn fast and adapt. It was how they survived. So let me make sure I understand, Sarah said. They were sitting in the small living area of the ship, drinking something that tasted like bitter tea. When a Kryn connects to another Kryn, they can share thoughts and memories directly, like copying files between computers. That's a crude way to put it, Zalkira said. But yes, it's how we coordinate military operations, how we share intelligence, how we teach each other complex skills without years of training. And when you connected to the human dream system on that colony ship, the human memories copied into your mind. Yes, and then you shared those memories with other Kryn officers. A little at a time, Zalkira said. I had to be careful. If I shared too much at once, they would know something was wrong. So I just added small pieces. A memory of a human child laughing, a feeling of loss, a moment of kindness, things that would seem like their own thoughts. Sarah paced back and forth. Her mind was working fast now, and those officers changed their behavior, became less brutal, showed mercy. Some of them, Zalkira said. Not all. Some Kryn are too rigid, too committed to the old ways. But enough change to make a difference. This is incredible, Sarah said. She stopped pacing and looked at Zalkira. This is how we win the war. I don't understand. The human military has been losing because Kryn ships are better. Kryn weapons are stronger. Kryn soldiers are tougher. We can't beat you with force, but we can beat you with this. Sarah tapped her head. With human thoughts, human feelings, human experiences. Zalkira stood up. You want to spread human memories through the entire Kryn neural network? Yes, Sarah said. Not as a trick or a weapon, but as the truth. Let your people experience what humans actually are. Not the propaganda they've been told. Not the enemy soldiers they fight, but real humans. Children and families. Scientists and artists. People who laugh and cry and hope and dream. That's... Zalkira paused. That's the most dangerous idea I've ever heard. Why? Because it would work, Zalkira said. She sounded excited and scared at the same time. The Kryn leadership knows something is wrong. They've noticed the changes in their officers. The hesitation. The mercy. That's why they're pushing so hard now for total victory. They want to end the war before whatever is affecting their military spreads further. But they don't know what's causing it? No, Zalkira said. They think it's battlefield stress, or human psychological warfare. They don't understand it's human memories actually changing how Kryn think. Sarah grinned. Then we need to get to human space. We need to talk to the military command. We need to make this happen on a massive scale. They spent the rest of that day planning. Zalkira explained how the Kryn neural network worked. Every Kryn soldier had an implant that connected them to their unit, their ship, their fleet. The network was supposed to make them more efficient, more coordinated. But it also meant they were all vulnerable to the same thing. Information, experiences, memories. The hard part will be getting access to the network, Zalkira said. It's heavily protected, encrypted. You would need Kryn technology to even attempt it. You have Kryn technology, Sarah pointed out. You're Kryn. Can you access the network from here? I could, Zalkira said slowly. But the moment I do, they'll know where we are. The network connection would give away our position. Every Kryn ship in this sector would come for us. How long would we have? Minutes. Maybe an hour if we're lucky. Sarah thought about it. That might be enough. If we're close to human space when you connect. If human ships can get to us fast enough. Zalkira looked worried. This is very dangerous, Sarah. We could die. We could die anyway, Sarah said. Those hunter ships are still out there. And even if we make it to human space, there's no guarantee my people will believe us. They might shoot you on sight. You're the enemy princess. True, Zalkira admitted. But if we do this, Sarah said, if we show that human memories can change Kryn minds, if we prove it works, then maybe we can end this war. Save millions of lives on both sides. Zalkira was quiet for a long time. Finally, she said, the little girl who wanted to protect people. She really did grow up. Sarah smiled. And the Kryn princess who couldn't destroy a ship full of children. She really did become someone who fights for peace. They left the asteroid cave and started flying toward human space again. They were more careful now, avoiding major shipping lanes and military patrols. The 200 ships were still following, but they kept their distance. Waiting for reinforcements, probably. On the third day, they crossed into the border zone. This was dangerous territory. Both Kryn and human ships patrolled here. Battles happened almost daily. Space was full of debris from destroyed vessels. Human ships ahead, Zalkira said, checking her sensors. A small patrol. 3 fighters and a destroyer. Signal them, Sarah said. Tell them who we are. Tell them we need to talk to their commanding officer immediately. Zalkira opened a communication channel. Human vessels. This is Princess Zalkira of the Kryn Empire. I am defecting. I have important intelligence about the war. I am carrying a human prisoner I rescued. Her name is Dr. Sarah Kovacs. Please respond. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the human ships moved to intercept them. A voice came over the communication system. Male, cautious, suspicious. This is Captain Rodriguez of the human destroyer Valiant. You claim to be a Kryn princess. I am, Zalkira said. And you rescued Dr. Kovacs? The doctor who was captured 3 weeks ago at Colony 7. Yes, Zalkira said. Prove it, Rodriguez said. Put her on the screen. Sarah moved into view of the communication camera. Captain, this is Dr. Sarah Kovacs. Service number 7842 Delta. I was captured when the medical transport ship Mercy was destroyed. The princess helped me escape from a Kryn prison station. She has information that could end the war. You need to listen to her. There was a long pause. Then Rodriguez said, All right, doctor. Come aboard. But slowly. And know that we have weapons pointed at you. If this is a trick, you'll both die. Understood, Sarah said. They flew toward the human destroyer. It was old and battered, covered in patches from previous battles. But it was home. It was human. Sarah felt relief wash over her dot. Then Zalkira's sensors started screaming. New contacts. Lots of them. Kryn fleet incoming, Zalkira said. Her voice was tight. 20 ships. They found us? How long? Sarah asked. 10 minutes? Maybe less. Sarah grabbed the communication system. Captain Rodriguez, we have a Kryn fleet coming. 20 ships. You need to call for reinforcements now. And you need to listen to what we have to say. Because in the next few minutes, we're going to change everything. Rodriguez's voice came back, tense but steady. Explain quickly, Doctor. Sarah looked at Zalkira. The princess nodded. It was time. Captain, Sarah said. What if I told you we could make the Kryn fleet hesitate? Make them question their orders? Not through weapons, but through their own technology. Through human memories and human experiences shared directly into their minds. That's impossible, Rodriguez said. No, Sarah said. It's not. The princess has been doing it for 23 years. And we're about to do it on a scale that will shock everyone. But we need your help. We need your trust. And we need it right now. The Kryn fleet was getting closer. Time was running out. But Sarah had spent her whole life fighting for people's lives. She wasn't going to stop now. This was it. This was the moment everything would change. The little girl called Sarah Bear was about to show the galaxy what humans could really do. Captain Rodriguez made a decision. Maybe it was the desperation in Sarah's voice. Maybe it was the fact that a Kryn princess was risking everything to help humans. Or maybe he just knew they were going to die anyway if the Kryn fleet reached them. Come aboard, he said. Fast, and start talking the moment you're through the airlock. Sarah and Zalkira docked their scout ship with the destroyer. They ran through the corridors. Human crew members stared at Zalkira with shock and fear. A Kryn princess on a human warship. It was unthinkable. Rodriguez met them on the bridge. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. He looked like someone who had seen too much war. Behind him, his crew worked frantically at their stations. Kryn fleet will be here in 8 minutes, an officer reported. We've called for reinforcements, but they're 15 minutes away. Then we have 8 minutes to try something impossible, Rodriguez said. He looked at Sarah and Zalkira. Talk fast. Sarah explained everything. The orphan ship. The dreams. The neural network. How Zalkira had been slowly spreading human memories through the Kryn military for 23 years. How it had been changing them, making them less brutal, more hesitant. And you want to do what exactly? Rodriguez asked. We want to broadcast human memories directly into the incoming Kryn fleet, Sarah said. All of them at once. Overwhelm their neural network with human experiences. Make them see us as people, not enemies. That's insane, one of the bridge officers said. It's brilliant, said another officer. A woman with red hair and a science insignia on her uniform. If it works. Do we have the technology? We have people, Sarah said. Human crew members with memories and experiences. We have the princess who knows how to access the Kryn network. And we have 8 minutes. Rodriguez looked at his crew. They looked back at him. Nobody spoke for a moment. Then the captain nodded. Do it, he said. If we're going to die, we might as well try something crazy first. That's what humans do best anyway. The crew moved fast. Zalkira connected to the ship's communication system. She explained what she needed. Human volunteers to share their memories. Sarah helped set up the medical equipment to record brain patterns safely. 30 crew members volunteered immediately. They sat in chairs while Sarah attached sensors to their heads. They closed their eyes and thought about their lives. Their families. Their childhoods. Their hopes and dreams and fears. Talk to me, Sarah said to each one. Tell me about someone you love. About a moment that made you who you are. A young pilot talked about his daughter learning to walk. An engineer talked about his grandmother teaching him to fix engines. A Marine talked about the day she decided to join the military to protect her colony. A cook talked about making bread with his father on Earth before the war started. Sarah recorded everything. Every memory. Every emotion. Every human experience. 5 minutes, an officer called out. Zalkira worked at incredible speed with all 4 arms. She was building a bridge between human technology and Kryn systems, taking the recorded memories and converting them into something the Kryn neural network could understand. The hard part is making it feel real, Zalkira explained while she worked. Kryn can detect artificial data. But these are genuine human memories, genuine emotions. That's what makes this work. 3 minutes, the officer said. Kryn fleet is powering up weapons. Sarah looked at the view screen. She could see the Kryn ships now. 20 of them, massive and deadly, moving into attack formation. The human destroyer and its 3 fighter escorts looked tiny in comparison. "We're going to die," someone whispered. "Maybe," Rodriguez said, "but not without trying." "Ready," Zalkira announced. "I can broadcast now. But the moment I do, every cringe ship will know exactly where we are. And they'll know I'm the one sending the signal." "Do it," Rodriguez ordered. Zalkira activated the broadcast. For a moment, nothing happened. The cringe ships kept coming. Then one ship slowed down. Then another. The entire fleet began to lose formation. "They're receiving it," Zalkira said. She sounded amazed. "It's working." On the view screen, Sarah could see the cringe ships drifting. Some stopped completely. Others turned in confused circles. It was like watching a coordinated machine suddenly become individuals who didn't know what to do. "What are they experiencing?" Rodriguez asked. "Everything," Zalkira said. "They're experiencing being human, growing up on Earth, loving families, losing people, making friends, learning skills, building things, creating art, having children, growing old. Everything that makes humans who they are. Will it hurt them?" Sarah asked. "No," Zalkira said. "But it will change them. They'll never be able to see humans as just enemies again. They'll know what you are, what you feel, what you dream about." The Kryn fleet was completely stopped now. No weapons firing, no movement. Just 20 massive warships floating in space while their crews experienced what it meant to be human. Then the communication system activated. A Kryn officer appeared on the screen. He looked confused and shaken. "What did you do to us?" he asked. His voice sounded different from the cold, flat tones Sarah was used to hearing from Kryn. This voice had emotion in it. Fear and wonder and confusion all mixed together. "We showed you the truth," Sarah said. "We showed you who we really are. I saw." The officer paused. "I experienced a human mother holding her child. I felt her love, her fear, her hope that the child would grow up safe and happy. How can I order my weapons to fire on a species that feels like that?" Other Kryn officers were calling in now. All of them confused. All of them changed. "This changes nothing," one officer said, but his voice was uncertain. "We have our orders. We must destroy the human ship." "Why?" another officer asked. "I just experienced 50 years of a human life." He was a farmer. He grew food. He taught his children. He helped his neighbors. He never hurt anyone. Why are we trying to kill people like him? "Because they're the enemy," the first officer said. But he sounded like he didn't believe it anymore. "Are they?" A third officer joined in. "Or have we been lied to? I experienced memories of human soldiers fighting to protect civilians, taking risks to save wounded enemies, showing mercy when they didn't have to. These are not the monsters we were told about." The Kryn fleet was arguing with itself. The neural network that was supposed to make them coordinated and efficient was now spraying doubt and questions. Human reinforcements arrived. More destroyers and fighters. They took positions around the Kryn fleet, but nobody fired. Princess Zalkira activated the communication system again. Her image appeared on every Kryn ship. "This is Princess Zalkira," she said. "I know you've all been changed by what you experienced. I know you're confused and questioning everything you thought you knew. Good. That's the beginning of wisdom. 23 years ago, I experienced human memories for the first time. It changed me. I've been working ever since to help you understand what I learned. That humans are not our enemies. They're just people trying to survive and protect what they love. Just like us. I'm calling for a ceasefire. Not a surrender. Not a defeat. Just a pause. A chance to talk. A chance to find a better way than endless war." I know I'm branded a traitor now. I know I can never go home. But I don't regret what I've done. Because I've seen what's possible when humans and Kryn work together instead of fight. And it's beautiful. Silence filled the communication channels. Sarah held her breath. This could still go wrong. The Kryn could shake off the effects and attack anyway. Then one Kryn ship powered down its weapons. Then another. Then all 20 ships lowered their weapons and pulled back. We agreed to the ceasefire, the lead Kryn officer said. We need time to understand what we've experienced, to think about what it means. Captain Rodriguez sagged in his command chair. I can't believe that worked. Humans are good at impossible things, Sarah said with a tired smile. Over the next hours, more ships arrived. Both human and Kryn, but nobody fired. Instead, they talked. Officers from both sides, changed by the shared memories, started discussing what came next. It wasn't peace. Not yet. The war didn't end that day. But it changed. The fighting became less brutal. Prisoner exchanges started. Negotiations began. And slowly, over months and years, the human memories spread through the entire Kryn Empire. Some Kryn resisted. Some fought against the changes. But enough were changed that the war became impossible to continue. You can't genocide a species after you've experienced their memories, felt their love, shared their dreams. Sarah and Zalkira stayed together. They became the bridge between the two species. Sarah taught Kryn about human medicine and compassion. Zalkira taught humans about Kryn technology and culture. They traveled between human and Kryn space, spreading understanding wherever they went. 5 years later, Sarah stood on Earth for the first time in decades. She visited the memorial for the orphan ship, New Hope, all those children who had been saved by a Kryn, princes who couldn't kill them after experiencing their dreams. Zalkira stood beside her. Do you ever regret it? Sarah asked. Losing everything? I didn't lose everything, Zalkira said. I lost my title and my old life. But I gained something better. I gained a friend. I gained a purpose. I helped end a war. The little girl who dreamed of protecting people would be proud of what you've done. We did it together, Sarah said. You remembered my childhood name.